Hello everyone, it's Kat Sticker with Soul Shift Saturdays, and I'm so pleased to be back in the saddle here. I have been out of pocket for several weeks because I've been very sick, and my family came down with COVID about 3 weeks ago, and I am now recovered, but that time that I had COVID, there was a lot of suffering, and I was not able to come on and do any lives or recorded videos or anything. I mean, I wasn't really even able to post. I was so sick for so long, seems like. And now I feel like I've made a full recovery. My husband Michael's been sick. My kids were sick, although they didn't really have symptoms. But like my son had to stay out of school, and so it's just been trying to get over some of the symptoms that are really bad. I mean, it's beyond respiratory symptoms. We were just really exhausted. It's really hard to think straight. Just a lot of confusion and tiredness. And for me, it really affected my emotions. And so I felt very emotional, very down while I had the COVID. And that was no time to be coming on and, spreading that kind of vibe to you guys. So I stayed in bed and recovered. And now I'm back to my normal self. And so I wanted to come on and see everyone and talk to you a little bit about autumn equinox, because that's coming up this coming week on Wednesday. And this is also known as Mabon. Mabon is it's a sabbat or celebration on the wheel of the year. It's called the second harvest. So the first harvest was Lammas, and this is the second harvest. And then there's a third harvest on Samhain or Halloween that's coming up. So this is the middle harvest, and it's the full moon is going to be on the 20th. So we'll still be in that full moon energy on the 22nd. And that moon is called the harvest moon. So because this is harvest time if you're a farmer, and traditionally this is the time of year that people take into account what they're harvesting, what their crops look like, and whether they're going to have stores enough up for winter to get them through the winter, right? This is also the autumn equinox is the time when we have a balance of light and dark. So it's light half the day and dark half the day. And I was wondering if that varied depending on where you are, because, like in winter, it's dark. There's a lot more hours of darkness. For instance, I went to Alaska one time for a few weeks in January, and there was only 1 hour of daylight at noon. And so I was working there, and we'd go to a restaurant for lunch, and you'd watch the sun rise and set while you're at lunch. It was a really different kind of feeling. And where we live here is in Houston, Texas, where, that's pretty far south. That's there's a lot of daylight here. And we're not at the equator, but for the United States, we're not that far. We're pretty the closest to it. So we get a lot of daylight. And I just wondered if, towards the equator, it's more of the balance than different parts. And so I looked that up to research it, and it appeared that it is the same everywhere. But I'd like to know from your perspective, because I know the viewers are from all different places, just drop me a comment as to whether the equinox brings you equal amounts of light and dark where you are. Because I think, and what I wanted to talk to you about here in the fall, I think the music might be a little bit too loud. Hold on just a second. I'm going to turn it down a little bit because I can't hear myself think. All right. So what I was thinking is that in the fall, it's a change of season. It's been hot as hell here. We had a soccer game today, watching my daughter play soccer, and it was 95. Well, no, I think it was 85, but it said it felt like 95. It felt like 105 to me. I was burning in the sun, and we had an umbrella and everything. It was still so hot. But I know in different parts of the country, it's getting cooler now. And so I feel like we should adhere to our cycles as the local climate dictates, as the local climate brings you in. So if you're in a place where it's already fall weather and it's cooler and you have fall leaves, embrace that and go into that cycle. And if you're in a place where it's still hot and tropical, maybe you're slower going into that season. So I think if you're going to live with the cycles and attune your body, so if you attune your body in with the cycles, you're more harmonious with the earth, right? You're more in tune with what's going on. And so if you can align yourself with what it is where you are and not necessarily going by the calendar days. So you see, I got all the fall stuff up here. Well, I actually have noticed in the mornings it's a little bit cooler, and I've noticed the way the light falls on everything during the day is changing. It's a little bit different. It feels more like autumn, even though it's really hot here. So I'm kind of easing into that, but I'm not full-blown autumn yet, quite honestly, because it's still pretty summery here. I will get there. And I just want to know, like, how many people are already full-blown autumn, or if you're easing into it where you are. So I'm just checking the comments. All right. So I had Facebook users say a lot. LOL. All right. So I want to go back to talking about balance. So for the equinox, balance of light and dark, how does that apply to our lives? How does that apply to how you feel internally and how you're acting externally? Are you in a spot right now of balance? Is your light and dark side balanced? This could be a really good time for you to do some shadow work around what's off balance in your life, and then digging deeper as to why that is, right? And so when I say shadow work, I'm not talking about like dark magic. I'm just talking about exploring what's dark inside you and bringing that into the light so you can heal it. So it's good to have a balance of light and dark. But are you off balance? Are you too light? Are you too dark? Are there things in your life, time-wise, that maybe are off balance, like you're spending too much time at work or not enough time at work? And then secondly, what is your harvest like? So this could be a good time to do some shadow work around what could be blocking a bountiful harvest for yourself and why. So for me, I've been thinking about that because, remember at the beginning of the year when we planned all these goals around the pillars of wellness, and now we're most of the way through the year, and have I met the goals that I set for myself? I have not. I'll tell you that right now. I have not met all those goals. I met some of them, maybe partially. I'm not getting the harvest that I had quite expected, but I have harvested things that I didn't expect, right? So I want to show my gratitude. I want to express my gratitude for what I have harvested gratitude to the universe, gratitude to myself, gratitude to other people who are responsible for what I'm harvesting. But for the things that I didn't harvest, what were the blocks around that? Well, I think for myself, part of that is that I got overzealous on wanting to add more things on. And so then I was like, oh, wow, I want to do this. And then, oh, wow, I don't want to miss this opportunity. I want to do this. And then I just keep adding things on until I have too many things to try to harvest, too many things to try to grow. And then I can't get any of them to the finish line. Does anyone else experience that? That can be a big problem. And the block is, I think, this sense of this attitude of lack, or I'm going to lose out on this opportunity if I don't grab it now. I need to go after this opportunity now, or it's just going to be gone. Well, that may or may not be true. But if you're adding on too many things and not managing your time, not managing your resources, your internal and external resources, then you're going to overcommit. And then the whole thing is going to go to hell, right? Nothing's going to work out. Yes, other people have experienced that same thing before. I agree. It can be a real problem, and this has happened to me before. Can imagine that. It's come around again. So I've said to myself, don't do that. Don't do that. And then I find myself in the middle of having done that. So that is something I need to better control, because then it becomes a block to harvesting your abundance. If I had have just stuck to what I said I was going to do and focus on that instead of getting off track and getting distracted over here and adding more and more and more. And then yesterday I'm like thinking about adding something else, and I'm like, why am I doing this? I know I'm going to fail if I just keep adding more stuff to have to do and take action on when I'm already overburdened as it is. So that is kind of my block to harvest. That doesn't mean I'm not harvesting anything. I feel like I've got a lot of irons in the fire. I want to try to get some of those to the finish line. Now it's looking like it may not be this year. But here's the thing. I don't want you to be trapped also in having to accomplish something by the end of a calendar year. Think about more like these cycles of cycles of the year, and maybe some things go over more than one cycle. Maybe something's a long-term goal, or starts turning into a long-term goal, and you can if your time frame isn't realistic, be kind to yourself, be compassionate, and say, well, what are some milestones that I can make as shorter term goals on this, and have the final finish line be a longer term goal. So maybe it's over 2 years instead of 1 year or something like that. So don't be trapped into a certain shorter time frame just because of the calendar. And try to get on a cycle as we go into, as the days are getting shorter and we start wanting to go inward more for self-reflection and being thankful for the harvest and celebrating what we have harvested, planning for the next cycle for next year, hunkering down for winter and the time of darkness. This may not be the time to start a new cycle of goals, right? Maybe save something for the next cycle, and instead just plan that out, right? And instead of saying, okay, I'm starting a new goal now, maybe plan to start the new goal at the start of your next cycle, and give yourself some time off to recharge at the end of the seasons, So usually in the dark times, the winter months, we try to go inward and recharge and start planning for the next cycle. Many times that can correspond with a calendar year, but doesn't have to. Don't lock yourself into that. So you have to, that's what I want you to do, is really get your body and your mind and your plans in tune with your cycle that's local to where you live, and that's what's in your heart and your plans. And don't be locked into what everybody else says is your time frame, and you have to do this on September 22nd or whatever. We like to celebrate this autumn equinox on the 22nd. And I was thinking, instead of doing like some kind of balance cleansing thing on today's broadcast, I would come back on live on Wednesday evening. It's going to have to be the evening because I work a regular muggle job during the day. But I'll come on in the evening and do something live. Also, I wanted to tell you a little interesting story about something I saw today that to me was very symbolic. And I dug more into that after I got home. So my husband and I drove across town to pick up something we were buying. And on the way, we were driving, and I was in the passenger seat, and so I was looking out the window, and we're on this outer belt, so it's kind of goes through the outer loop of the city. It's very rural and goes through kind of some wilderness areas where it's just a lot of forest and trees. And we're driving on this lonely stretch of highway, and there was a forest there. And then I saw on top of one of these trees a great white egret. Egrets are very common in this area where I live, but usually we see them around water. They're either flying over the water or in the water or on a stick in the water, and they're hunting. I have never seen one on top of a tall tree in a forest that wasn't near the water. And it was flapping its wings, is making a big show up there. It was huge, brilliant white on this dark green forest background. And when I saw it, I knew it was a symbol. And I wasn't sure exactly what that was. I was trying to fill into it. Because remember on the last show, it's been a few weeks since I did a show, but on that show, we talked about reading the signs, right? And so I'm trying to pay attention and track. And so I wrote down that I saw the great white egret flapping its wings. And so then I come home and I start researching the egret and feeling into what that was. Well, in China, apparently, so an egret is a type of heron. And the heron in China means, may your path ever be harmonious. And so today we're talking about balance and harmony, the pillar of harmony. And so I thought that was really interesting, that I'm getting that symbol of harmony and balance right at the equinox and right before the day of this show that we're doing. And in Egypt, it's symbolic of a cycle of renewal. And isn't that what we're talking about, the cycles? And now we're talking about balance, the equal light and dark, and how we're going into a new cycle. So the egret gives us, it offers us the gift of balance. So I want you to kind of meditate on that for a little while and list out what in your life is in harmony and what's not feeling harmonious for you right now, and why. And can you change that before the next harvest, which is the end of October? We still have time to get back on track a little bit and get a little bit more out of our harvest for the year, right? So how can we harvest more harmony in our lives? And for me, I think that I have a lot of work to do in that area, as I talked about it, but I believe I have time to get that done and to get more in balance. And in fact, I had an exercise yesterday where I met with someone and we did a reading for each other and a clearing. And so I felt some of that get blown out for me. We used the cardinal winds to blow this out, and so she used Boreas of the North on me to blow mine out. And I felt a physical movement on that. So, whatever you have to do to get in that harmonious cycle, now is a good time to do that. Now, I also have with me some oils that I'm using. And this one right here is called On Guard. It's kind of got some shine on there. On Guard, it's from doTERRA. These are both doTERRA blends. And On Guard has like orange peel, cinnamon, clove, rosemary, and eucalyptus. It's very harvest smell. It's not pumpkin spice, but it's even better than pumpkin spice, I think. And it's also called their protective blend. So you can make like cleaning solutions out of this. You can diffuse it to bring kind of purity to your air. And this is a really good blend to use for the equinox. And then also I have some Balance, and I'm using Balance. It's another doTERRA brand. Excuse me, I got to get my nails done. I haven't been able to get my nails done for 3 weeks because I've been sick. But Balance is a grounding blend, and this is good for equinox, for getting that balance. It has spruce, hoe wood, frankincense, blue tansy, and blue chamomile in it. And this, it smells very kind of pine. You smell a lot of that spruce in it. It's got a lot of spruce. So you smell that pine smell, but it doesn't smell like pine sol. It's more of a pine floral kind of mix and that woody smell. It's really good. I love Balance. It is very grounding. So those are 2 oils blends that I recommend, or anything like that. I mean, if you can just drink some tea that has cinnamon and orange peel in it or something like that to get in the mood for the harvest moon, and maybe go out into the woods, go on a walk in the woods, pick some pine needles, and then smell them, get that pine scent that will bring balance for you. I also have brought some crystals to the table. This is the zebra quartz, and zebra quartz layered dark and white quartz, very good for achieving balance. And I look like I might have some comments here. Let me check it out. Not really. So anyways, let me know in the Soul Shifters Guild, why can't I say it? I'll just show it. Soul Shifters Guild Facebook group. Go in there and post what you're doing for the equinox, if anything, to celebrate Mabon, and how you like to achieve harmony and balance, how you're doing on your goals and your harvest for the year. I look forward to hearing from you on that. And I look forward to seeing you on Wednesday. I'll do another live and do something for the Mabon celebration. I'm not sure exactly what yet. I got to plan something out, but I'm thinking maybe some sort of meditation on there. I don't know what the weather's going to be like, if it's raining or something here. It's raining a lot here still. So we might not be able to do a fire or anything, but we'll see what we can do to celebrate. We'll do something good. Maybe we could do like cacao ceremony. If you've seen any of my past ceremonies, I love to work with cacao, which is chocolate, and it's like a raw form of chocolate. It's not like the Hershey candy bar. It's actually tastes better than that, and it helps to open up your senses and to bring balance and it makes a really good offering for the earth as well. So you can order your own cacao. There's a lot of different ethically sourced places that sell it online. I get mine from Firefly Chocolate. I love that place, and they have a lot of good stories about how they source the cacao. So go check that out as well. All right, I love you guys, and I'm going to let you go for today. Hope all of you are feeling well and enjoy the equinox and the full harvest moon. Love you. Bye.